Little known fact about me. I like VeggieTales. If I did my counting correctly here, I have 88 VHS tapes total and 47 DVDs, meaning I have, I think, 135 videos overall. This is a problem because, as you can see, I have like no shelf space left. With this collection, I've mainly been focusing on the videos and not like the other stuff, but I do still have a couple things that aren't that. I've got the 4 VeggieTales albums right here. We've got number 4, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, that's not how you count, but that's just how they laid out. I do want to try and eventually get the VeggieTales 1 release with the older cover, and I do also want to find whichever of these albums are on cassette. That's like one of the things I don't have in my collection yet that I do want to have, because I do also collect cassettes. This is cassette drawer. That one's empty, but I don't have any VeggieTales ones yet. This is just all my other cassettes that just so happen to be in this area, because that's where they fit. Again, I need more space. This is becoming a problem. I only started collecting these in, I think, July. I had some of these tapes beforehand, because they were, like, gifts, or I just, like, found a copy of Dave and the Giant Pickle at half-price books or something. But, it wasn't until around July where I really became dedicated and started searching through eBay and finding lots and just, letting it kind of become an addiction. In terms of the other non-video things I have, I've got these 4 books right here. I also found these at half-price books, specifically the flagship store in Dallas. We got Bob and Larry's ABCs and Archibald's Opposites, both from the Veggicational series. I do want to try and get more from this series, just because I think it's really cool to see these books with, like, the 90s style of art in them, because none of the others... a lot of the other books don't really have, like, the show's style in the books. It's always different 2D illustrations, like these other 2. We have 3 Pirates and You by Lisa Vischer, and The Fastest Dodgeball in the West. I don't really know much about these 2 books. I mean, I've read them since I got them. I don't know about the history of them. I don't actually know when this one came out. I don't know if it was like a promotional thing for Jonah or the Pirates movie. I would assume one of those 2, because it's got the more modern pirate designs. There's a lot of things I don't know the history about with the things I've collected, so I'm bound to get my facts wrong. And for those who have more experience with this that want to, like, correct me in the comments section, feel free to, because I'm still new to this. I just think it's neat. I like the talking vegetables. They are funny. Oh yeah, and I also have this plush of Bob. I need more plush toys, because I just think they're really cool. This one, specifically, is a souvenir from when I went to see VeggieTales live in, I think, either 2011 or 2012. I don't actually remember. I just remember the show being a lot of fun, and I had a really bad camera that I was trying to record everything on, but the audio sounded so bad. And eventually I accidentally wiped the camera clean of everything, because I was like 8, and I did not know what the hell I was doing. But I've got this Bob plush. I had also gotten a shirt there, but that's long gone, obviously. But I've kept up with this Bob. I have had more plushies of VeggieTales throughout the years, I just haven't kept up with them as well as this one, because this is like the one I have the most personal attachment to, I would say. Now on to all the VHS tapes. There are a lot of them, and I have a lot of duplicate releases because of the fact that I do most of my shopping through eBay lots, and for some reason, a lot of people have Madame Blueberry. So we got the 4 copies of Where's God When I'm Scared up here. We got this, I believe this is the 1994 release from Word. And then we got the 98 release from Word and also Lyric. And then we have this green tape from the 2000s. I'm glad that I have, like, one variation of each of them. I know this isn't all of the releases of Where's God When I'm Scared, but, I plan on getting more. I recently found a eBay lot with the Warner release of this episode. I don't know if it was the VeggieTales Classics line or not. I assume it was, because, you know, repackaging 90s episodes in the 2000s, it's bound to be a part of the Classics line. But sometimes it's not. So, I'm not sure. But, I just think this is nice. I like having this version of it, because, most versions of Where's God When I'm Scared I can find on eBay that aren't the 98 release are the 95 ones, with the, like, big old eyesore thing up here. It's like, premiere episode, and then we have other things on the tape. Like, you're just covering up the artwork. And this is charming artwork to look at. Look at old Larry. I always thought it was really funny back when they considered Silly Songs with Larry to be a special bonus feature, because they weren't gonna have that be a recurring segment back then. I just think it's neat. And you got the tape itself, no print date. A lot of these tapes don't have print dates, and that makes me sad. But, I think most of my Lyric releases do. Like, let me see here. We got this one. Yeah, this one is from August 27th, 1999. That's pretty cool. This tape is several years older than me. Most of these are several years older than me. I wound up with 6 copies of God Wants Me to Forgive Them, and I didn't actually want this many, because I don't actually like this episode. It's not very good. But, I guess just the circumstances of everything led to this happening. Obviously we got the 94 release here, I believe. I could be wrong. It could just still be in the old packaging. None of these tapes with, like, the old spines, none of them have, like, opening previews or FBI warnings, so that's why I assume they're the original releases. Well, obviously I know this one isn't the original release. If I were to ever get the 1993 version of this, I would, like, die. That's all. That's all I'd ever want. I would be happy to never buy another VHS tape again. But yeah, we got these 6 copies of the same episode that I don't even like that much. We got the 2 green Word releases, these 2 black tapes from Lyric, and then this 1 green one. I actually got one of these green Word releases from a friend, and it was still newly sealed when I got it. I opened it up, because I'm not usually one who cares to keep things sealed. If I'm gonna have a VHS tape or a DVD, I want to be able to play it, you know? I like seeing the contents. I think this tape right here was the first one I got in my collection that had the one Rumor Weed promo that shows up so many times in so many of these other tapes. If you collect VeggieTales tapes, you know the one I'm talking about. Any rumors caught your ear lately? Cause there's a big one spreading all over Bumblybird, just like a weed. Hey! Then we got these 5 copies of Are You My Neighbor? Old release. These 2 black tapes from Word. This black tape from Lyric, and this green tape from Lyric. I think these two black Word releases are interesting because, I don't actually know, like, the chronological order of things or why they're like this, but this one you see that's like the big-ass circle right there. Pardon my language if that offends you. And then we got this other one, which is just a more standard, smaller one. But other than that, these 2 tapes contain the same thing. And I don't know, like, what the reasoning for that is. There's no print dates on either of them. I just think it's funny, because that's the only way I can tell these 2 apart. Because, like, both of their sleeves are pretty much in the same condition. Well, not this one, actually. This one's kind of beaten up in the corner. But when I have it on my shelf there, you can't really see that corner. Most people, when they're doing videos showing off their VeggieTales collections, they're just kind of like, this is a word release, and this is not. But I want to, like, actually talk about the things that interest me, because I don't know as much about the details as others. I think it's interesting on the old releases of Are You My Neighbor and Rack Shack and Benny, the ages 3 and up thing on the top. Like, yeah, 2-year-olds can't watch this. They're not old enough yet. They don't understand the complexity of these vegetables. They can't handle the fact that I got the copy of Rack Shack and Benny where he says he doesn't love his mom or dad. I was actually really happy when I got this because, like, I've only seen, like, YouTube uploads of that version of the episode. I've never actually owned it physically, but, it's just really cool, just owning this little piece of history.
The bunny, whoa, I love the bunny. I don't love my mom or my dad.
Yes! I love physical media. I love preserving physical media. I think this is bad. Why is there a little wrinkle here? I don't know how to fix that. It sucks. I actually hate this tape now. I don't want to look at it anymore. Also, I have this black lyric tape and these green lyric tapes. I want to get the 98 word release and also eventually one of the Warner releases, but this is what we have for now. Now with Dave and the Giant Pickle, this is interesting because these are the 2 copies I have. But, so this one right here, this looks pretty standard, right? This looks like the 98 release from Lyric. You see right there, it was printed on forgot how to read dates. July 11th, 1998. But then you have this one. I found this at my local half-price books from where I used to live. I don't live close enough to one anymore, and it's very sad. But as you see here, there's no label, no print date info, no nothing. I wasn't even sure if this was actually the right tape when I first bought it. But, then I got it, and I put it in for the first time, and I'm pretty sure that this is actually the original release in the wrong sleeve, because it doesn't start with any opening previews, no FBI warning. It goes straight into the episode with the old recording of the theme song, and that's not what Lyric would do. Every day I get out of bed and I ask myself, what would Lyric do? I guess what Lyric would do is distribute these 2 copies of the Twilight Save Christmas that I have. I plan on soon getting some form of word release of this episode. I also want to get the older version of the episode where they had like the old animation of George's house, and it doesn't look good. It's very barren. I always thought it was funny that they had to go back and redo that scene because it was so dull. And then right next to that, you got the 4 copies of Very Silly Songs, or A Very Silly Sing-Along. I have these 2 lyric tapes, this one being black, this one being green, and this is the first instance of a Warner release in my collection. And it's also the one Warner release of a 90s episode I've got that isn't a part of the classics line, but I don't really understand why they wouldn't include it. I think it's a classic. I'm sure you think it's a classic. It's undoubtedly classic. The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything came from this episode. Like, I'm sure there's the debate of, like, the sing-along tapes don't count as episodes, but I think the ones from the 90s, at least, should, because they did actually leave an impact on the series. Like, stuff like, I'll just move over here for a second. Sing-alongs, I Can Be Your Friend from 2006. Yeah, that's not an actual episode. That doesn't add anything to anything at all. It's just stupid. But, the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything came from here. They are one of the most iconic things in the whole series. You gotta give them some credit. And then we move slightly to the right, and we got my 5 copies of LarryBoy and the Fib from Outer Space. We have this original Everland release right here. And we got my 4 lyric copies, 3 of them being green, all of them pretty much being duplicates of one another. The one thing I do find interesting is that, if I can get these out of here, I think these are the 2. I got these both from different locations. One of them was the Dallas Half Price books I mentioned before, and the other was off of an eBay lot. But, if I'm not mistaken, both of these... Oh wait, I got the wrong one. It's supposed to be this one! Yeah, both of these were printed on the same day, December 26th, 2001. And I just think that's cool, because I got these from very different places, yet they both have that in common. So, I find that interesting. The one I pulled out earlier, this is printed in 2000, so it's not even close. Get back in there. I don't want to see your face anymore. Then we got my 2 copies of Josh and the Big Wall. This is the one 90s episode where I don't have a copy with the, more stylized 98 sleeve. I did actually have one copy of Josh and the Big Wall that was, but the tape itself was cracked, and it was completely unplayable, and I didn't see point in keeping that in my collection if I wasn't going to be able to use it. And I bought that off of eBay, and that just makes me a little upset that they would sell that to me and be like, oh yeah, that's fine, and not... Like, they didn't really include pictures of the tape itself, they just took a bunch of pictures of the outer sleeve. It was a part of a lot that also had one of my copies of Duke and the Great Pie War, so that was my main reason for doing that. But, yeah, it just kind of sucked. Then we got the other episode here that I have 6 copies of, Madame Blueberry. So this is kind of interesting. The first copy of Madame Blueberry that I got, it is this one right here. This was a gift to me from my boyfriend on our anniversary. That was so sweet of him. I know you're probably watching this, Charlie. Hi, I love you. You're awesome. And the way I can tell that this is the one that he gave me is because our anniversary is May 25th. And this tape was printed on June 25th. So that's just our 1-month anniversary. It's like easy to remember, right? But also recently I got another eBay lot with another copy of Madame Blueberry that was printed on June 25th. Please focus. There we go, June 25th. So, I had to do something to make sure I can tell the two apart, because I don't want to have to, like, get nitpicky with the time. Like, that's more of a hassle to document. So I just put a sticker of Glenn Quagmire on it.
I'm Glenn Quagmire.
Oh yeah, also I forgot to mention, one of these copies of Where's God When I'm Scared was actually a gift to me from my partner Jules, and I can tell that because it has a sticker of a gumball machine on it. I don't know why it's there. It was just like that at whatever thrift store they got it at. It's kind of funny. And with Madame Blueberry here is also the second instance of a Warner Bros. Release, and the first from the VeggieTales Classics line, with that nice, shiny spine. I really like how this looks. This is nice. I like the shine. I have my gripes with the VeggieTales Classics line in other forms, but I'll get to that later. Then we got the End of Silliness, which starts up here and then ends up back down here. One thing I actually never noticed until just last night when my friend JK told me about it is that, you got the original releases, Silly Sing-Along 2, The End of Silliness. That's what it is. It's the second sing-along tape. I did not mean to flip that over. It's the second sing-along tape. But then you have these later releases from Lyric, and it says The End of Silliness, more really silly songs. I don't know how I didn't see this sooner. I guess my brain just sort of processed, like, oh, the cover says the end of silliness. Right there, and right there. It all makes sense. I feel like this is stuff that some people are, like, rolling their eyes at, like, of course they did that. How do you not know this? If you're this dedicated to collecting VeggieTales tapes, you gotta know the difference. But I didn't grow up owning this one on VHS. I had the complete Silly Song collection on DVD, so I only knew it as The End of Silliness. And I never really looked at the box art that much growing up, because I didn't have the box art, I just had the disc. And over here, we finally got LarryBoy and the Rumor Weed. Finally, the episode that all these fucking green lyric tapes kept trying to promote. I get it. You want me to own this. I own it 3 times. One from Word, the others from Lyric. Are you happy? Oh, also, one thing I forgot to mention about a lot of the green lyric tapes I have. I got most of them all in one eBay lot. And the interesting thing to me is that almost all of these were printed on the exact same day. So we got Rack Shack and Benny right here was printed on August 5th, 2001. Are You My Neighbor was printed on August 5th, 2001. And I want you to take a guess at when Where's God When I'm Scared was printed. August 4th, 2001. It's different that time. Wow, aren't you quirky? And then I got my copies of King George and the Ducky. This green lyric tape right here. Take a guess at when it was printed. I dare you. Yup, August 4th, 2001. I don't know if that's like a significant date or not. I don't assume it is because I haven't heard anything about that day in particular. This person just got a lot of tapes on that specific day and then sold them all back, I guess. Oh, also, this copy of King George and Ducky right here. This one claims to be the VeggieTales Classics release from Word, but then you look at the actual tape. That's the damn Lyric logo. This is the wrong sleeve. This is, I think, the only other instance of me having the wrong sleeve for the wrong tape. The first one being that David the Giant Pickle tape. I wish people wouldn't do that, but obviously, I don't expect eBay sellers to be doing the same kind of research that the actual collectors do. And I don't even do that much research. My 3 copies of Esther here, there's not really much to talk about. They are all pretty much identical. They're all the Word release. I did recently get an eBay lot that has the Warner release too, so that'll be nice, and hopefully I'll also get the Lyric tape soon. And speaking of Warner releases, the 3rd instance of that Shield logo, Lyle the Kindly Viking, right there. It's not the Classics release, but it's there. I don't know if they actually did a Classics release for this one on VHS. I know they did for DVD, but, I don't know, maybe me saying that makes me sound stupid. I have no idea. But that's that. I think this copy of Lyle I've got right here is the first instance of the 1-3-2-1 Penguins trailer, where they're promoting the cheating scales of Bulamanka by making a joke about, like, oh, the Penguins are so popular now, they can't make any more videos.
Unfortunately, the Penguins are now so popular and busy that they can't make any more films.
Whoa, no.
Like, they were banking on the success of this series so hard, and they had the balls to say and make jokes about, like, our show is so successful, we can't keep doing it. Just kidding. Like, oh, poor Big Idea. Y'all had no idea what was coming up in the next few years. And then we've got the ultimate Silly Song countdown right here, with the really shiny, reflective cover. This is the one release I have in a standard sleeve like this that is from Hit Entertainment. And I just find that interesting because, you know, it's sort of the end of an era, you know, no more Lyric releases. This is what you get now. And also knowing about the fact that they're eventually the ones that sued Big Idea, it's kind of funny to have releases with the hit logo on them, just knowing how things played out in the future. And this one was printed on July 27th, 2001. Only like a couple weeks before the one day that fucking all of my tapes were printed on, apparently. Then we have my lone copy of Jonah Sing-Along Songs and More. This is just such an interesting episode to me because, you know, they've only released it on VHS. There doesn't exist a DVD of it. That might change soon because they are teasing the 20th anniversary Jonah DVD, saying it has sing-along songs and more on it. People are just assuming that that might just mean, oh, they put the songs on it, you can sing along to them, but they word it in a specific way to where it tricks you into thinking it might be the episode, and it's not. But I really hope it is, because this is such a treasure. It's such an interesting piece of Big Idea history. They were going so hard with Jonah promos. There's so many of these tapes that open up with the one trailer of Jonah, and it goes, alright, name the town, I'll be on my way in the morning. What? Nineveh? You don't want me to go there. In a land of mystery. Yeah, Nineveh! It's the other end of the world! A town full of trouble. Nineveh's the biggest, meanest city around. Those people do not know right from wrong. I've had to watch that fucking trailer so many times. Oh, also, this was the first tape in my collection to be the Warner Brothers release. And that is pretty cool to me. And there's not really much interesting to talk about the next few, because we got World of Entertainment, Ballad of Little Joe, Snoodle's Tale, Sumo of the Opera, Duke and the Great Pyawar. This one is another Warner release. I got it in a later eBay lot after Jonah Sing-Along Songs. I believe my Sumo of the Opera tape, okay, this is the word release, I got that right. I forget which one it is. Duke and the Great Pyawar. This one is the word release, but also, if I look down here, I had to... The train's coming by. The show must go on. I have the Sony Wonder release of this also, and this is one of the only Sony Wonder tapes I have so far in my collection. God damn it. It has to always come by at the worst times. This is very inconvenient. But yeah, I'm pretty sure one of these other tapes from the early 2000s is also, yep, Sony Wonder, my copy of Minnesota Cuke. I wasn't able to tell from just the spine because they only put it on the back. So those are the two Sony tapes I've got. And then these are both the word releases of Lord of the Beans and Sherlock Holmes. This one was really hard to come by because people on eBay will sell this episode for such high prices. It is nuts. My friend Chloe, who I bet is also potentially watching this, likes to brag about how she got her copy for like 50 cents at a thrift store. I don't live close enough to thrift stores that would carry these kinds of things. I'm jealous. I have to put these back. Oh, this is not good. And then we've got the Clamshell releases that I've sort of skipped over on these rows. So we got my copy of Jonah right here. This was also a gift to me from my boyfriend Charlie. And I didn't actually realize this until recently, but this is the Canadian release of Jonah from Alliance Atlantis. And I hadn't really realized that because this was one of the first tapes I got before I was really getting big into collecting them. But, no, this is definitely the Canadian release. It says on the bottom, it's distributed exclusively in Canada, authorized for sale in Canada only. Charlie didn't buy it from someone who's in Canada. I don't know how he got it. Now with this, it's you know, it's one of the more standard clamshell cases for VHS tapes, like the ones that Disney would use. These are nice to open. I like opening them and closing them. It's cool, and the tape fits nicely in there. Then you got these other ones that are weird, because they're all so bulky and clicky, and it's like, it's all pokey on the inside, and I don't like that very much. But yeah, this is one of my tapes of Star of Christmas being the Word release, and I've got another one of those too. And then I have my copy of An Easter Carol, which is much more my speed. That's nice. I never understood why they went with the white tape for this episode, because like all of the others around this time were the green ones, and this wasn't even really like a special event. It was just kind of an Easter episode. But I think it's cool. I do not want to make a mess, because this is a lot. And then we got my 3 tapes from Heroes of the Bible. 2 of them being Lions, Shepherds, and Queens, Oh My, and this one being Stand Up, Stand Tall, and Stand Strong. And all of these are the only other releases that I have from Hit Entertainment. And I just think it's cool to have these, because this was like, I believe this was the first time they really did a compilation episode. Because, like, they have the sing-along tapes, and I guess you could count that. But, they never really started doing full-on compilations until this. And then later on into, like, the late 2000s and 2010s, they're doing compilations every other release, you know? God Made You Special, God Loves You Very Much, Bob Lends a Helping Hand, Larry Learns to Listen. There were so many. There did not need to be that many. Let Us Love One Another. There's... My grandma actually had a copy of Bob Lends a Helping Hand, and for a while it was the one VeggieTales DVD she had. So whenever my cousins were over, that is what would get played. And it has led to me having most of Huckleberry Larry's Big River Rescue engraved into my brain, and I didn't really ask for that. But it's still a good episode. And also Lyle's a good episode. I have Lyle in that one. This one's my favorite. This is like the peak. They did not get any higher from Lyle. And if you disagree with me, you're entitled to your opinion, but Lyle is better. So that's all of my tapes from, I guess, the main series. Moving over here, we have my other tapes. We got the 5 tapes from the Cartoon Adventures I have. I wound up with 2 copies of the Angry Eyebrows. One of these I got from a thrift store in Dallas, and the other I got from an eBay lot. All of these being the Cordant releases, I think that's how you pronounce it. I assume it is, because cord is a word, and I don't want to say chordant. That doesn't sound right. But yeah, I have all 4 of these episodes. And then I have my few episodes of 321 Penguins, also mostly being the Cordant releases, except for episode 1, which was Word. The eBay lot I bought these from, for some reason they skipped over Cheating Scales of Bulamanka. I don't know why you would just go from episode 1 to 3, but it's whatever, I guess. And then up here, we got my 2 proudest things in the collection. The VeggieTown Values tapes, the Greetings from Bob and Larry. I guess for those who are unaware, I don't imagine there are many people who are unaware that are watching this video, but VeggieTown Values was the VBS program that Big Idea Productions helped to make based on VeggieTales. And they had these newly animated greetings from Bob and Larry for every day during VBS, and the kids would all come in and then watch a little video before going out and doing stuff. And these are the tapes that the churches would have to play those. So because these weren't actually like fully publicly released, they're pretty rare to come by. But I managed to get this one on its own for like 30 bucks. And this one was a part of an eBay lot with 11 other tapes, and the lot overall was $25. If you value all of those evenly, I got this for $2. Then up here we got a taste of VeggieTales, another, I want to say it's a rarer release, but it's probably not, because this was a free sampler tape that was given out to people. It is what it says, a taste of VeggieTales. They have the story of Flibber Lou after Phil Vischer gives a little speech about why they do what they do. And then they have a couple of trailers. And then they have the why we do what we do thing. And then we got my tape of the holiday double feature, which I am remembering now is also from Sony Wonder. So that's 3 Sony tapes I have. And this one is really interesting to me because this was the first time that the VeggieTales Christmas Spectacular footage was released. Because up until that point, they were only doing that in TV broadcasts, because it was made for TV. But, it's a lot of original animation, so I'm glad that they eventually did release it. And then right above it, we have the Jonah, A Very Veggie Family Adventure. This is obviously a full package, much more than just the tape. I just think it's interesting to own this, because, again, it's like the Jonah Sing-Along Songs and More type deal. They put out so much merch and so many side things to try and promote Jonah, and they still flopped at the box office. It is tragic. I need water, I'm thirsty. Talking about VeggieTales for 40 minutes makes you thirsty. So then we go on to my DVDs, which I wish I could pull some of them out, but they're not in a shelf. I had to put them in a stack. It was either having this in a stack or having all of these in a stack. And I already have so many tapes in a stack over here, and Bob is guarding it. But yeah, the DVDs. Down here we have most of my releases of the VeggieTales Classics line, with the 2010s Josh and the Big Wall sandwiched in between. It's kind of funny. You know, having to put these in chronological order and just having that there is funny. So I mentioned earlier the thing about the VeggieTales Classics line. So yeah, this, I like this. That spine and the shiny, that's cool. This is not. This is boring. It's just gray. And then you'll sometimes have, like, the main color of the episode on the side, and then, like, maybe a character on it. But the spines are just so boring. This is boring. Like all of these other releases, you have the logos for the episode, and the logo of the show. It doesn't even have the VeggieTales logo on it. So, like, if you're not in the know about VeggieTales, and you were trying to shop to find some VeggieTales videos, what is this? What is this? It's boring, it's dumb, it's stupid, I don't like it. But it does transition nicely into the non-classics copy a while I have on DVD. This one's the Warner release, and then this one is not the Warner release. I don't know who released it. I'd pull it out to see. But I can't. Obviously, I have many more Warner releases for the DVDs than I do for the VHS tapes. Same goes for Sony Wonder, because you got Sony, Warner. There's a lot of them. But, you got Lyle right there, Ultimate Silverson Countdown, Wonderful World of Autotainment, 3 copies of An Easter Carol, at least they all have something different about them. I believe one of these belonged to a church and has a bunch of stuff about the church written on it, and I just got it at a game exchange like that. I'm gonna need to find another green case to replace that with, because I don't want all that writing on it, because it's for me now. It doesn't belong to that church. Then we got Snoodle's Tale, Warner, not Warner, Minnesota Cuke, Lord of the Beans from Sony, Sherlock Holmes, Bad Apple, also Sony, Gideon, Sony, Mo and the Big Exit, Wonderful Wizard of Oz from Warner, The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything, not having the actual VeggieTales logo on it, that always bugged me, and then my copies of Big River Rescue, which I think is interesting because this helps, like, transition from the old logo into the new one, because I wound up with both of these. And, like, the spines look nearly identical, aside from that. And also the fact that this is in a green case and then this isn't. Because they decided to get boring. Yeah, then we got Abe and the Amazing Promise, another Minnesota Cuke, St. Nicholas, Pistachio, Sweet Pea beauty. It's a Meaningful Life. 'Twas the goddamn night before goddamn Easter. I hate this episode so much. This was at in the $5 bin at Walmart, and I can understand why. It's not even worth $5. This is bad. And then we got Robin Good. Robin Good's okay. The Penniless Princess is okay. Veggie in Space is okay. Celery Night Fever, I watched for the first time recently, and I actually really like it. It's probably one of my favorite episodes of the whole series. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, because it's an episode from 2014, but, you know, it's just fun. The music's good. It's fun. I like it. And those are all the DVDs from the main series, and then back over to the side stack, which is all my miscellaneous things, I guess. Complete Silly Song Collection, I mentioned this earlier. This isn't actually the copy that I used to have as a kid, because obviously I was a kid. I broke things. The case was pretty worn out over time. My mom managed to find this one time at a thrift store near her job, and she was like, hey, you want this? And I'm like, hell yeah, I want this. And that was before I actually got big into collecting this series specifically. She just knew that was a thing I used to have and wanted to do that for me. I know you're probably not watching this, Mom, but if you are, thanks. Then I got the DVD of Heroes of the Bible, Lions, Shepherds, and Queens, Oh My. VeggieTales sing-alongs, I Can Be Your Friend. God Made You Special. This is not a good compilation. This is fucking bad. I only recently watched it for the first time, and the countertops are so weird. Why did they animate them at 30 frames per second? Why did they try to pair 30 frame per second animation with 24 frame per second animation and Snoodle's tail and the countertops? It looked bad. It wasn't good. The lighting wasn't right. You can't even do that. And then we have Lessons from the Sock Drawer. It's like one of the only times they acknowledge things that happened in the TV show, in the not the TV show. I find that interesting, but it's not the greatest compilation in the world. Another Heroes of the Bible, A Baby, A Quest, and The Wild Wild West. God Loves You Very Much, If I Sang a Silly Song. And then this is probably one of the more interesting things I've got in the DVD section, because this was specifically released for Sunday school lessons, and this is Dave and the Giant Pickle. This is mainly just the DVD and CD being a side thing to the actual lesson guide that the teachers would get. I found this at Half Price Books, and it was a really interesting find. This was like $12 compared to everything else that was $5 a piece. I have yet to actually go through the DVDs yet. I don't know how rare this actually is, but I think it's neat. Like, owning this and like the VBS greetings, I just think it's interesting to have stuff like this. And then we got the final two things that were on top of my DVD stack that I can actually pull out because I was able to. All the shows, Volume 2, 2000 through 2005, and the 25th anniversary 10 movie collection. Now this right here, this is a fun release. I like this because you have, you know, like a little bits of history on the inside and all of the discs. They have new artwork on them, but they are the same discs that were released before. And it's cool and good, and I like it. But this version of this box set, I got this from Half Price Books, and it's actually missing Duke and the Great Pie War, which is a little unfortunate because I like that episode, but, you know, I still got 9 other episodes here, and this whole box set was like $25. So that's a steal to me. Now, this is a good compilation that is respectful and tasteful and honors the show's history, and I think it's good. Now, on the other hand, what the hell is this? This is actually the only one I ever bought from Walmart just a few months ago, because this is the only VeggieTales DVD that they were carrying in the DVD section at my local Walmart. I like the slip cover it has. I think that's nice, because they also contain this little activity book. Inside we have a crossword, a coloring page, a maze, a maze, a maze, a maze, and even a maze. So many damn mazes in this. I don't like the activity book, and I don't like this DVD collection either. Because you got, on the inside, you have the 2 discs. This one containing the 2 feature films. I feel that's kind of a given. Oh wait, there's 3 discs. Sorry. The first disc contains the feature films, and then the other 2 contain the episodes. The main thing that bothers me is not only the presentation, because they just sort of slap together a DVD menu with like each of these episodes as an option to pick from on the menu, but also it's just the episodes themselves that they picked, and the nerve they have to call some of these classics. If this is supposed to be honoring the 25th anniversary, why are you picking so many episodes from the past decade and not the actual classics? You know, like the things that were released in the VeggieTales Classics line? Like the one here I could kind of consider a classic is Lyle the Kindly Viking. Sumo and Snoodle's Tale were a few years after Lyle, so I can kind of understand that. I think they're good episodes. Penniless Princess, Robin Good, Pistachio, Sweet Pea Beauty, all of those being from the 2010s. And Sweet Pea Beauty? Please focus. I want the camera to focus on Sweet Pea. Oh, but out of all the episodes you could have picked, why Sweet Pea Beauty? Why would you try and honor your 25th anniversary with the episode that had unfinished animation? But yeah, enough about me complaining about that. That's my VeggieTales collection. I think I went through pretty much everything. I have been recording for over an hour now, so I'm probably going to stop talking. But I just wanted to show this off because I am passionate about the series and I like owning things of it, and I wanted to talk about specific releases that make me think things, whether good or bad. I might make like some form of recurring series of like collection updates if I ever get like big eBay lots and I want to go through all the new stuff that I got. Like obviously I don't think my collection is ever gonna get as big as someone like, you know, VeggieTales Collector, the person who goes by that on YouTube. His stuff is super impressive. Go check him out. I just wanted to talk about this because I like the history of the show and I like the videos and I like VeggieTales and I think it's good. And if you watch this entire thing, you must also like VeggieTales, or you like to laugh at me as I talk about VeggieTales, because why do I care so much about this series? I'm not even religious. I just think the talking vegetables are funny. Look at that. It's a tomato. That's not supposed to have eyeballs. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.